Good afternoon and welcome to People's Australia Market Update. My name is Kalinda Campbell and I am a permanent legal consultant here in our Sydney office. On today's show, are leadership opportunities for women in the legal sector improving, or are there still some barriers in the way? This week, we are joined by Amrita Saluja, Government Solicitor, to discuss the state of inclusivity in the legal sector and whether real progress has been made in creating equal opportunities for women. We will explore how challenges in the legal sector have evolved from overt barriers to more subtle biases and discuss the impact of unconscious bias in hiring and career advancement. Also on today's show, we will explore our latest legal opportunities across Sydney and New South Wales. And lastly, we will reveal our new social media insights on fair pay or wage theft, where we will ask you if you think your employer always does the right thing. So, jumping into the show today, last week, our recent survey revealed that 59% of people believe that their workplace doesn't provide fair and equal opportunities for everyone. With International Women's Day this week, it is the perfect time to reflect on the progress made in gender equality and the barriers that still exist, particularly in industries like the legal sector. Are career advancement opportunities in the legal sector today really more inclusive, or have the challenges just become more subtle? To discuss this further, we are joined today by Government Solicitor Amrita Saluja. Hi Amrita, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem.
Before we jump in, I just wanted to say that all opinions expressed are solely my own and do not express the views or opinions of my employer today.
No problem. So just to start with, what initially sparked your interest in the legal industry?
Obviously, being in this sector has really shaped my experiences, but it's also maybe one of the main reasons that I was interested in the legal industry. So, from a personal background, I am a migrant and a first generation migrant, and I've seen the systemic barriers that are in place for individuals who do not have English as their first language. And I thought it was quite a privilege to be able to be educated and then to learn how to use those legal skills to empower culturally and linguistically diverse communities. So that's always been something that's drawn me to the legal industry, because I do feel there is a significant power imbalance between people who can access legal justice, and I think that it should actually be available to everyone. It's a human right, and I don't think it should be dependent on where you're born. So I think that's really what sparked my interest. And I did a few, as a student, I was able to do little internships with a defence barrister, and I think that really shaped my perception of justice as well, because doing that line of work, he was representing people who you would generally stigmatise in society, but he provided a really unique perspective that everyone has a right to justice and everyone has a right to be heard and seen. And I think that really shaped that there's always that, yeah, being a lawyer can be quite a powerful job, and it can really shape individuals' lives.
For sure. And I mean, even myself, my interest for the legal industry definitely stems from that access to justice piece. I think it is very important and a big determinant for a lot of people's legal careers, for sure. From your perspective, has the legal sector made real progress in creating equal leadership opportunities for women in particular?
Yeah, look, I think that it has come quite a far way, but just in 2009, the Human Rights Commission did an inquiry into the Equal Opportunity for Women in the Workplace Act 1999 and Equal Opportunity for Women in the Workplace Agency. And I think while I really want to say that, yes, it's progressed significantly, there are still quite a few barriers that prevent women from having the same accessibility or leadership opportunities. And I think one of the really and I guess it's just one of the biological realities is if we take, if we want to start a family and if we want to have children, that does often come at a cost of our career
Yeah.
progression. I guess that's really in the forefront of my mind as I'm getting to that age now. But I would think it would be a bit disingenuous to say that we're 100% there, because there's still significant areas that could lead to better women's economic security. And I think that can be achieved by really looking at making gender equality in Australian workplaces as a national priority. And I think that would then translate into equal opportunities in the legal sector as well for women. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We did just have conversations about this and talking about how, of course, when we look back on the last 5 years, we've definitely made some significant progress and significant change, but there still is a lot more to do for the next 5 years. So I completely agree with you there. On to the next question. Have you personally encountered barriers or any biases, gender stereotypes in your career?
Yes, I have, but very early on in kind of that university stage. I
Mm,
but I think it hasn't been in relation to gender, but there definitely has been cultural assumptions and also biases based on the university that I attended. And I think that I do hope that is an outliner experience, but I do feel when you're young and you have that one experience, it can be very formative. And I
mm,
think knowing who I am now and as a legal practitioner I am today, I wish I could go back and let my younger
yeah.
self know that that's not right, that doesn't fall on you, and don't let that define your experience, because your cultural background and the way in which you've perceived life and the paradigms in which you've been brought up to see the world is unique, and that it brings a really unique perspective to the law. And you still are a very competent and skills based individual. Doesn't
Mm,
matter about your cultural upbringing or your background or what university you attended, you still have
yeah.
the skills that make you a good practitioner.
For sure. And I mean, that's just so great that you've come so far and been able to realize that. And I guess if you could say that to your past self, you would. But it's a good type of feedback to consider for law students currently going through obviously law school, which can be daunting and you can be told certain things. I know I certainly have in my days as well. But it's always good to keep your head held high and understand that, you know, no matter what your gender is, no matter what your upbringing is, there is always a way forward, and you should be certain and confident in your abilities as well as a lawyer without those other influences too. Um, my next question to you, Amrita, is what is the most memorable career advice you've received from another woman?
Yes, it's to stop saying sorry. So I've had great mentors actually who've all been women actually, and it's been to one, to stop saying sorry, but don't be afraid to be assertive as well.
Yeah.
I think being assertive, though, it can be done in a variety of ways. It doesn't have to be in the brash, direct manner, unless that is the way that you want to be, then own it. But I think assertiveness can come in many ways. And I think it's important to always own the room that you're in, especially in the work I do, which is litigation. There will be very varying perspectives and agendas, but you need to know and feel confident in your position and
Mm,
not falter from that. Where
yeah.
obviously reasonably, but I think that comes from backing yourself. And yeah, the very first kind of advice I got was to stop saying sorry, which I think sometimes you as a woman are kind of taught to not take up too much space, to not
Mm,
to be kind of small. And I think there's that really great TEDx talk, and I always do it before my interviews, where you put yourself in a superhero pose. I don't know if you heard of that.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And it makes you immediately, when you enter that interview, you own yourself and you own the presence and you command attention. So, yeah, I think that's been I've kind of carried that through, although I am an extreme apologizer. So I'm working on it.
But at the same time, you can be an empathetic person and not always use the word sorry, but we're all guilty of it, aren't we? I know when you were saying that, I was thinking of the last time I said it, which probably would have been 10 minutes ago. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that's really great advice that you've received there too. The final question I have for you, Amrita, is what kind of changes would you like to see in the next 10 years within the legal industry?
Yeah, I guess that it would be great to see. I think there's still that pay gap issue, and as in the fact that women don't get paid as much. And I do think that women returning to work after maternity leave, and it really actually is so difficult, and promoting gender equality. And then I guess it is about also kind of understanding that equal opportunity for women, and how that can be achieved with the systemic barriers that are in our industry. So I guess that all comes down from having improved transparency and accountability at a national level.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely agree. And there's a lot of education to be done that has been done and still can be done in the legal industry for sure. And not just with regards to changes for the benefit of women, but across the board, of course. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Amrita. If anyone does want to get in touch or find out more information, our details are on the screen and in the comments. Our hot jobs this week are presented by People to People's 2025 Market Report Survey. Have your say on the future of work and help us identify salary trends, talent attraction, and retention trends in your industry. Visit peopletopeople.com.au or click the link in the comments to find out more. This week, we have some great opportunities across Sydney and other states in the legal sector. First and foremost, associate or senior associate, 5 to 7 years experience based in Sydney. We do have a litigation lawyer opportunity based in Queensland, a disputes and litigation associate here in Sydney, and a renewable energy senior associate here in Sydney too. What a great area of law that is. If you are looking to advance your legal career or strengthen your legal team, I am here to help. With a deep expertise in the legal recruitment space, I would be more than happy to connect you with the right opportunities and also help your firm find top talent. Reach out to me or to my team. My contacts are on the screen now, or follow the links in the comments to get in touch. So that's it for today's show. We will see you next week on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Thank you very much for joining us.